Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be working on my scarf. It's all part of the Roxy Journal of Stitchery project for the first half of this year. So the scarf is part of the wearables. Now I've got all my bits and bobs here. I'm very excited to be doing this. I have invisible stitched all of those patches of fabric down. So they're all secure. Now, the next thing I've got to decide is, am I going to camphor quilt all this, as in running stitch? And my thought in the last video was wherever there was a patch, that'd be one way, this would be the other. But it's sort of, I don't know, it's rolling around in the back of my head that might add a bit of strength to the piece, and I still want it to feel soft. Yes, it's a scarf and it's not going to be like a floaty silk thing. It's going to be more of have a bit of structure about it, which I'm okay with. But I just want to be a bit careful because I don't want it to be too structural that it's awkward to wear. So do I do camphor stitch or not? Because I've got all these layers I want to add yet too. So do I be tricky and, for example, lay down a rose and then up to it camphor stitch? I don't know. I wish you lot were sitting at the end of my desk here. We could talk this through. So option one, camphor stitch it all, adding more bulk. Option two, go straight into piecing in some elements that I'd like to see on my scarf, and then decorative stitch around it then, as in camphor stitch or random stitch, or I think I'm going to go that way because that then saves thread and bulk underneath some of these pieces. Yeah, I'm going to do that, guys. That one fits quite nicely there. So let's just give it a home. I'm just going to trim a little bit off. This is the exciting bit. This is planning the pattern. How is it going to proceed from this point? Do I fussy cut it out anymore? I don't think I will. I think I'm going to leave it because I don't want it to disintegrate because this is so fine. I've got plenty of pieces, so I know I'll get the full length of my work. Now, these pieces need to be worked in. And remember, I had that one, so there's two, and then this and this one. So what I might do is let's nibble out a piece of this. And once I sort of work out my design, it's just hit repeat. It's like the first 20 centimeters is going to be what's going to happen for the rest of the scarf. So if I can achieve that today, I'm off and running with a nice little project to stitch on. So you may not see the scarf pop up again for a little while. I was just looking at my calendar. We're marching into March now, aren't we? So you're watching this video and it's the 2nd of March. I'm pre-recording it the week prior. So I'm now trying to set up all my March videos because March I'm away. Going down to Melbourne to hang out with the lovely Susanna to attend her retreat and also do a little bit of shopping in all of the haunts that she goes to find her beautiful fabrics and bits and bobs. Very excited. Interconnecting them is what I think I'm going to do. And then spaces like that, I could do camphor stitch or French knots or crosshatch stitch, or use those little pockets as my spots where I play with thread, is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so what was I saying about my schedule? I'm just got my calendar to the side where I've got all my videos pre-programmed in and recorded on a bit of a calendar, so I try not to lose my way. And most of March, my anchor projects like Stitch the Seasons and Susanna's calendar and all of those are done and in. So I think you watched the scarf on Wednesday and now it's Saturday, 2nd of March. We still don't have the new prompt for the Roxy Girls wearables. So let me just flip over. Monday, you'll have the new prompt for Botanical Beauties. I also start the bunny on Tuesday for Susanna's calendar. And then I'm finishing off my last dragonfly for you guys. My last video, I think, for the seamstress. And then Friday is Stitch the Season Summer, which is the standard sort of program that I use. I guess, oh, this here is pretty. But is it dainty enough? Yeah, so during the week, as in next week, for you guys, you will be getting the new prompt, and so will I. The question is, this is the golden question, will I have enough time, depending on what the prompt is, to create a video for the month of March using the new prompt? That is undecided because I don't know what the new prompt is. If it's something simple, the reason I'm saying this is you get the prompt on the Wednesday or Thursday morning, the 6th and 7th of March. I fly on the Saturday down to Melbourne. So it literally leaves me a day to quickly start the project and prompt so that you can watch it on the Saturday the 9th. That may or may not happen, guys. Depends on the prompt. If it's something that I'm like, oh, I know what I'm going to do, and off I go on my tangent, yeah, great. I'm hoping it's something that is pretty easy to travel because I'll take it with me then, and that can be my travel project. So I'm thinking I'm going to lay over all this little elements, all of these little beauties. Maybe there's not going to be much stitching down. Do I want the stitching down and then this lacy stuff goes over the top of that? Maybe that's what I've got to do. Just bear with me, guys, as I try and nut out my layers. Yeah, I think. Question is, what goes in between all these? Don't say seed stitch. Oh my goodness. It'd be too much. I think I'm liking the idea of this whimsical lace drifting in amongst it, because I've got all this wedding lace that I could nibble into. Heaps of bits and pieces there. What else have we put aside here? Not a lot, because it's all about edging and things like that. I found another possible edging too. Look at that one. So I'll pop that in there. The other thing I have got up my sleeve is I rather like these here and working them into the scarf. Now this fabric is, look, it's okay for needlework, but it's a little bit, so I'm sticking the needle in, it's a little bit of a friction there. So if this did get pulled apart, it's not a bad thing. I'm not going to be precious about it. I just have a feeling that these types of things need to come right at the very end. They're like the dusting over the top. Does that make sense? So let me just have a little play. If I was to camphor stitch into these pieces, let's see what that looks like. Let's start here. So what I'll do now is just ignore the fact that that edge is there. I'm going to pretend that it's all one piece of fabric and just come in with running stitch or camphor stitch, borrow stitch, depending on what culture you're looking at stitching. I will take into account that there's a piece of fabric underneath that may allow me then to change direction. So for example, this rectangle is sitting in behind here, so everything on that rectangle goes this way. When I hit some pink or some white embroidery, I jump underneath and pop up the other side. Does that make sense? This is to reduce bulk on my scarf, but it'll also, I guess, catch all of these little decorative elements. Then, once this base is secure, I then come back through with embellishing, which will be these little things, and they will be just stitched on top like a netting with the invisible stitch. And at that stage, I will have it all mushed together into one panel, and then I can come back through these roses and do some decorative stitching as well. See, now I'm back onto the fussy cut piece and stitching up to that pink leaf, and I stop. So now when I look at this piece, I'm going to bring my needle up in here next to that stem, nice and tight in there, and then continue back along here with my running stitch. Yeah, that's how we're going to secure it. What I might do, so that I can travel with this piece and take it with me and maybe stitch it on the plane, or, you know, just have it with me. It's a nice lightweight project to carry. Is I might go through and pin all the pink flowers, all the white elements, get them all pinned on, then I'll go through and invisible stitch them all down. That gets rid of the pins. And then my whole project is running this running stitch through the piece, catching my floral elements, ready to have an overlay of delicate floral elements on top of it. I think that's the recipe, guys. At which point they'll be all in position, and then I can have a good look at the pink and work out how much or how little I stitch it. So as you can see, this is going to be a long project. So it'll pop up from time to time with a bit of an update. So now I've gone into there again, and I'm rocking my needle or stacking my needle, which I heard one of the girls say. I think it was Faith Hill, not sure. The girls that do a lot of sashiko stitching, they use words like that, rocking the needle. That's crooked. I really shouldn't be worried about being crooked or not, because I'll be unpicking it too much if I really get bogged down on that. So let me just twizzle that around. So it's just using your thumb to pop the fabric on to your needle, pulling it through, done. Like so. So that's pretty straightforward, and I think that's the way to go. Otherwise I would have had all this camphor stitch through the whole piece. Then I would have been like, well, how am I integrating my decorative elements, the flowers? And this is a good way to catch it all, making it more of a background. I'm going to have to end this thread. So let's have a look here. See how we've got the flower here and over here? I'm going to use the last of this thread to continue my line through that zone. Might as well, it only needs a stitch there. Then I bump into the pink again. Now I need to pop up over here and continue on. So what I might do is I'm going to go sideways a little bit here. I'm probably breaking every rule in the camphor rule book. That one's okay because it disappears, but I've got a couple more here. So I'm pretty much continuing my line of stitch. No, it's come on threaded. It's getting too small. Enough cheeky stitches, girl. But what I'll do is I'll thread up again. So I'm trying to get my running stitch look through the piece by scooting around these pink flowers and catching them down to the background. So we're up and away, and what I might do is I'm going to come in here like that and head in that direction. Put a little stitch there. It's like quite an efficient way of doing the piece, I think. Probably didn't even need to do the invisible stitch that I did on the back, all those big squares, but it does eliminate pins. So, and I didn't mind. I needed time to think about my piece as well. So I'm going to continue on here. This is where that basic rule is, where the patch below is, that's as far as you go. So I'm now bumping into another piece of embroidery. So I'm going to now stitch him with a bit of this line. And there's our seam. There's the next square which heads off in that direction. So that's the point of which I must turn around and come back. Because that piece might have the stitches going that way. Does that make sense? So now I can stack the needle for speed. It was a bit cack-handed there. As we scoot back to where we can go no further because we've bumped into some pink. This really is for the new kids. So I can scoot across there, jump, get rid of that pin. And that's where we meet up with that first line. Now I could have started here, which I probably should have, and just scooted along and jumped around, which probably would have been just as good. But this shows you how, I guess, if you need to sort of work an area and then come back to it at another time, you can. Now I can get on that side of the pink flower or leaf. I need to have a think about pink stitches as well. Do I want to do some camphor stitch using a pink thread? Is another. But will it be too bold? Like I sort of, I don't know. I'm thinking it might be too out there. Maybe it can be used as a, I'm going to end this off because I want to have a play with pink. Okay, so you can see how the camphor stitch is going to go. It's going to catch everything. Now the pink idea. Let's grab some pink thread. Do we want to go bright, dark, medium, soft, lolly pink? Don't mind that. Is it even worth doing because I'm covering it? So, you know, all of these things are coming over it again. All this tulle. So it's a waste, isn't it? I'm better off saving these threads for highlighting some of the roses and the leaves. Yeah, no, scrap that idea. All right, just wanted to try it. So I think I've got a plan, guys. Let me just grab some more thread. And keep stitching, because remember, there's the block underneath. There's another block. So I'm just going to keep stitching. So yeah, grab your project, put that away, girl. You don't need it. Not yet. So I could even bring these wool threads in to the flower, but that's another day. Just focus on what you've got already on your plate. So I'm going to start over here now, like I probably should have in the first place. Lost my thread. So how have you all been? Good, I hope. I hope you had a good day. If you're watching it at the end of the day and you're getting ready to crawl into bed and rest for the night. If you're waking up in the morning and you've tuned in to see what the girl is up to, welcome. I've definitely got some YouTube girls that when I go, I save them for bedtime. Because it's just something about my voice, their voice. Sonia, you're one of those. Sonia Steptoe, Australia's national treasure. I love Sonia's videos because I really relax. I very rarely stitch with Sonia because I like to watch what Sonia does. She does all these intricate little stitches and that, and it's just, I find it really relaxing. I feel like I'm intuition. Does that make sense? I'm learning. So I tend to save Sonia for the end of the day, and I'll climb into bed, and it might be probably an hour before I feel like going to sleep, but I'll just lay there. I can stretch my back out. Excuse me. And I put Sonia's video on. Goodness me. Yeah, and then relax, deep breathe, and just listen to Sonia's voice and her giggle. She's got the cutest giggle. And then as soon as I start feeling a little bit drowsy, I attempt to go to sleep, as in turn the phone off, and I'm out. It works a treat. It's her gentle tone, I think. So thank you, Sonia, for all your videos. You are one of the veterans of the YouTube world. You've been at it a long time and have given so much of yourself to your channel and all of us. So I do thank you. You're just a great lady. And I enjoy hanging out with you of an evening and just listening and relaxing and yeah, so Sonia's with me when I go to bed of an evening and I can just chill out. As for the rest of you YouTube ladies, you're everywhere and anywhere. If I'm stitching, you're often with me. But Sonia's my nightcap. I think it's your voice, Sonia. And that little giggle. I love listening for the mailman. There's a mailman that comes to Sonia on a motorbike, and he's got squeaky brakes. Oh, it just cracks me up every time, because my mailman has similar brakes. I don't know, Australia Post, you need to have a look at the brakes on everyone's motorbikes, because if I've got them in Brisbane and Sonia's got them down in Parks, that's telling me there's a problem with servicing of the brakes on their motorcycles. I hear my guy coming and I think it's Sonia's motorbike man as well. Isn't it funny? We're in completely different areas, yet we've got a similar... My guy's always on the phone too. I hear him coming and he's like yibby-yabbering away on his headpiece and delivering my mail, and we can hear him coming up the street yapping away on his phone. I hope he's concentrating. He's going to get himself into trouble if he's not. Okay, have I got enough to return? Try to make sure your work's not puckering too when you do the U-turn to go back. Just make sure it's sitting flat. Still not convinced I'm going to wear this. We'll see. Like I said, this could end up as a snippet roll. I think by the time I've stitched this section here, I'll know if it's going to be the right texture. If it's too chunky and it just is sitting around my neck annoying me, it's around the ears, the back of the neck. I'll come up with another project for it. I'll turn it into something else, because I can easily cut it and use the rest for another project another day. Like, I'm not too precious about it at all. I'd rather invest my time into something that I love. So steady as she goes. You saw that with the jacket. I was very cautious, and I love my jacket. I've worn my jacket. I really like my jacket. But if this scarf turns out to be just not quite right, and look, to be honest, I'm not a girl that wears a lot of scarves because it's just too bloomin' hot. So it'd have to be a case of there's a cool breeze and I happen to be wearing an outfit suitable for a pink scarf. So I know when I moved house there were a heap of crocheted and knitted ones in my cupboard, and I sent them all to the thrift store. Donated them all because I just don't wear them. I think I kept two, a black one and a pale pink one. And I thought, well, if I ever travel and I luckily end up somewhere where it's snowing, at least I've got two warm scarves. The rest were just, you know, random scarves that I think I've worn once. So, yeah. And here I am making a third scarf for my very small scarf collection. But what I might end up doing, okay, plan B. If I decide that this is not for me, I'll then have a think about what else can I turn a panel of embroidered big stitches, embroidered fabric into, you know, maybe it becomes the boundary of a, or the border or the edging of a bag, a tote, or I don't know. But I'm not ruling out that the scarf gets kiboshed. But we'll see. If I did shorten it up and it just becomes a piece of embroidery, just because a piece of embroidery, then I can really go to town on you know, playing here, and then one day it gets turned into something. I'm okay with that. Not every project is a, you know, 100%. This is what I'm going to do. Sometimes it's just you feel like stitching. And it would be lovely to really invest time into these flowers. But if I do a scarf, will I do as much embroidery into the flower? Probably not. It's such a pretty rose. Okay. All right. Have I got enough yet? Goodness sakes. I just want to stitch this. I want to scoot ahead. Put a little bit of that on. I'll just do this little bit. Otherwise, I'm going to be here all day and I want to move the project along a little bit more so then I can toddle off and have plenty to do. This will be good to take on the plane with me because it'll be small and I won't have to take copious amounts of threads and, you know, just a little selection of pinks and bits of lace. It'd be fun if you guys can think of a project that this could be adapted to if I decide that the scarf is not sitting right on me. I can already feel thickness there. I'll know once I turn the camera off and stand in front of a mirror and sling it around my neck. I'll soon see if it's going to be something that's I could even turn it into a page in my journal because I've got a Roxy Journal of Stitchery pages available. So I could really, you know, bring it in and join it and collage it and make a page in my journal. I could add up here to it, say the panel gets joined in up here to make a bigger panel. Who knows? But we're not ruling it out yet. Turning a U-turn, make sure your stitches aren't all puckered. Oh, I'm getting excited. I'm going down to Sydney, not Sydney, where am I going? Melbourne, to see my little buddy. Getting a little bit excited. Oh, come on. Goodness. My mind drifted. Oh, I did it again. I'm rushing. Don't rush, there's plenty of time. Just take your time, girl. Enjoy it. See, I did it again. This needle's got a very big eye and it's technically not the right needle. So when your thread starts getting a bit short like mine is now, it's going to easily pull out. All right, we're there. Okay, only just, but we're there. So this stitch, because the block is now a new piece of fabric coming through here, this stitch is actually going to go down this way. So all of the camphor stitching will go down. So I'm going to use the last bit of this thread just to secure it and use it. This will be really good and mindful. Is it mindful or mindless? Mindful, mindless. Oh gosh, I don't know. This will be really nice stitching to have with me where I don't have to think, but it keeps my hands busy. Good project to travel with, whatever it may be. Okay, so I'm just ending that little skerrick off there. Okay, well, that's good. That gives you a bit of an idea of my intent. So now all my stitches will come this way across the piece. All right, now we get to do a bit of playing. I can get rid of that pin, that is not going anywhere. So things like this, I'm thinking, will merge in like so to soften the piece. Yeah, yep, I really like it. Really like that. Okay, so I would then come back with my needle and thread and work my way around that whole piece of lace. So those little bits are going to work a treat. Let's have a look at this doily, because I'd love to see a bit of texture come in. But is it too chunky? I don't know. You see, it's getting thick. Yeah, nah, I can't do it. Where's a bit of tatting? I need some white tatting, I think, but see, I think I need to stay in the really lightweight products. So yeah, no. Nope. We need to keep it. See, even that piece I had out, it's too much. Maybe. All right, we're going to cut out this big flower, because let's say I don't have many of these pieces. Maybe I'm going to need another big element. So this is a blouse that I found at a thrift store. A loose long sleeve blouse. I've seen them around in pinks and blacks, and yeah, pretty common here in Australia. And I've always seems to have a few of them that I've been nibbling out of. What's going on here? Got a bit of a seam. I want to put it on my edge, so I'm going to just cut straight through there, then assess what we've got. Okay, see, pieces like this might be what I bring in just to add that extra element to my collaging. It's really thick. Oh, leave it there, girl, because it'll help. No. Oh, I don't know, take it off, because it's cut into a seam. See, things like that will bring in just another texture into it. That needs to also be considered. So what other little bits are in this? So we've got these little tulipy flowers. It's becoming a little bit like a snippet roll, how you build those together. Lots of little elements, but I don't want to get as intense as that, where you just keep working and working into it, and it becomes a beautiful constructed, layered, lots of bits and bobs. Ow, nearly chopped a finger. I don't want it to be like that on a scarf. Now, if it becomes something else, well, then that just opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? See, pieces like that start layering in. Yeah, I like that. See what I mean? It's just building interest in the panel. And then pieces like that. That one was there. I think you get the general gist of where I'm going to go now. I think I've got the general gist of where I'm going. Pieces like that will lay in over it. Becomes quite fun working out how to integrate all the elements. It's really fun. If you haven't done this type of work before, give it a go. See there, I'd probably trim it back to expose the top of that rose. Then I'd go looking for a piece. Look at you, big, beautiful. See, it's getting thick. This is a good bit. Just nibble him out. The other thing I thought I could do as well is lay a piece of see-through-y something over the whole lot when I'm done. Was another thought that popped into my, like a tulle or a, I don't know. This is all about building layers, I think, is what I'm trying to achieve. Let's see what this piece does. Hoping all those little bits are really handy for making collage things. Now, where's the bottom? How's it going to swing into there? That comes into there. And that comes across there. Yep. That looks good. Let's pin it. It'll give me something to think about and contemplate. Pin that there. Of course, I'm really putting the horse before the cart. I've got to get that camphor stitch done. Looking at that, I could easily cut it through here, remove that little guy, and maybe bring him in another spot, which I think I will. I'm going to scoot in there. What is that noise? Sounds like metal dragging on metal. To what the neighbours are up to. So now I've got this little piece. So let's come back here. I'm thinking that there. It could go there. Oh, I like it there. I think I want to see the camphor stitch there at the moment. So let's pin it over here. It feels like it does merge these elements with a little bit of daintiness. This big guy be stitched in here. I might trim that excess out because it's not doing anything. Yeah, that looks okay. Doesn't look odd. And if you get a piece of motif like there that has been chopped a little bit, bring something in over the top. No one will ever notice that it's not, you know, there. Okay, so what I might do next, let's have a look through the pink, because I feel like I've got a lot of white happening. and look for something that can come in to break it up. And this guy, I believe, is the piece where we maybe tuck it in to bring it through there. A lot of the camphor stitching would be covered, but it still would be in the background. That looks like it's an extension of that, so I'm okay with that. Now let's have a look at another rose. It's got these really big pieces. At this point is where I'm going to have to commit to a scarf or not, I think, because I'm getting very long. But that's okay, it's just pinned at the moment. Yep. I feel like it needs to be tilted a bit. That's a lost opportunity to see it by bringing that around a bit. I sort of felt like I wanted a rose here, but it's too narrow, so I've had to come out and start again. I'd bring in some of the wedding dress lace up into here, up through here, like really start to layer it up. But I don't want to get too far ahead. Like, it's quick and easy to pin, isn't it? But the girl needs to just work on this, see if I like the recipe. Am I going to adjust it anyway? Am I going to go and hunt for another piece of lace that comes in to add to it? Who knows? But at the moment, that's a yes. So that blouse, that sleeve, is going to join the party. And it's going to become part of the bigger pieces, just to, so it's not too fine. That'll help stretch this guy out a bit because I have limited amounts of that white work. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, let me just jump up and have a look at the time on the, oh gosh, we have scooted along. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to put all this in a little pile. I'm going to look at it for the next day or so, think about it, have a test of its thickness. It still feels okay. And then work on stitching probably to where that leaf is. I feel comfortable with that section, because if I decide to put it in a journal, I can turn it this way and the rose anchors the piece, and I can always go sideways with another rose to go this way if the piece becomes something else. But I think once that flower goes down, he is the commitment to the scarf. So I'm going to take him out and just slow down. There's my boundary. That's my focus, just that bit. And that way too, if I come back and say, yep, we're going for it, we're doing a scarf, my next video would be doing a bit of embroidery through here, maybe doing some bead work or whatever, but at least you know where it's heading. And then I can relax into the piece and stitch and pick it up whenever and, you know, go from there. I still haven't ruled out bringing in some of those types of pieces. Whether that's the right thing to add, I don't know. It's a decision that I'm not ready to make. So, yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks for joining me. That's great. I feel like I've got a plan. All right, well, enjoy your day. As I said, you'll be watching this on 2nd of March. Next week we get our new prompt, of which I'll decide if it's a project that I can join in for the month of March, being that I'm pretty busy. But I have left days empty for videos. So they'll either be retreat videos, shenanigans videos, and a little bit of the Roxy videos, depending on the prompt, of course, if it's something I can manage. Otherwise, I might just come back with this and say, right, this is traveling with me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make it into this, or it's going to be a scarf. And then maybe the month of April, I catch up with the Roxy girls and do the March prompt in April with the rest of April. So it'll give me plenty of things to play with. Be nice to take a bit of pressure off myself and enjoy my gallivanting. All right, guys, look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.